Hello, this is a quick look at the 3 new coronavirus mutants that you may have been hearing about in the news. The first of these was identified in September 2020 in the United Kingdom, and this variant is called B117. The next variant to be identified was October 2020 in South Africa, and this variant is called B1351. And finally, the last variant of concern was identified in Brazil in December 2020, and this one is called P1. It's known that all of these 3 variants arose independently in different parts of the world. And what's unusual about these 3 compared to the many thousands of variants that appear all the time and are not dangerous and do not change the virus in any way, these 3 particular variants are unusual because they contain a large number of mutations which change the proteins on the virus, in particular the spike protein, the protein on the outside of the virus that is used to bind to and infect human cells. And there are a lot of mutations on this spike protein. Normally we'd only expect 1 mutation at a time to appear, and a couple of these mutations in particular on each virus are known to be changing how the virus behaves. These variants probably arose in chronically infected individuals, so people who had coronavirus for many weeks and months, and this allowed the mutations to slowly accumulate over time in that person until you get this many mutations, and then it goes on and spreads to other people. So what are the characteristics of these variants? Well, the UK and the South African variants, B117 and B1131, are both characterized by faster transmission rates. And this is the biggest change. This is the change that's perhaps most important to our daily lives. It means the virus is spreading more quickly when in the same situation of social distancing. So if social distancing at a certain level was keeping the virus under control in a particular area, these variants will now start to spread and grow faster in those same social restrictions. That means many more cases, many more hospital cases, and unfortunately many more deaths, unless social distancing measures and testing and tracing measures are increased to control the virus even more. It's known that some of the mutations on the virus also help the virus to escape some of what are called neutralizing antibodies. These are the antibodies that bind to the virus and help the virus get detected by the immune system when it first arrives in the body. And some of the antibodies raised by previously infected COVID patients, some of those antibodies do not work anymore. But you've got to remember this is only a small fraction of the possible antibodies out there. Also, what's known is that patients infected with these variants on average appear to have a higher viral load. That is, there is more of the virus present in the nasal samples taken from those patients. So potentially these mutations are helping the virus make more virus, and that's one of the ways that allows them to spread more easily. The P1 variant found in Brazil carries the same key spike mutations and is likely to behave in a similar way to the South African variant in particular. Both the B117 variant, which started in the UK, and the B11351 variant, which started in South Africa, have begun to spread into other countries. 2 important things to say. It's considered by the scientific community that all the existing vaccines are still likely to work against each of these variants. There is a chance that there will be reduced protection for some individuals, but the vaccine will still protect pretty much everybody who gets it. And secondly, it's clear that more stringent social distancing test and trace measures will be needed once these variants have appeared in a country and grown to a substantial level. These more stringent measures will be needed until a vaccine uptake is substantial and shown to be effective. And so we may be facing increased pressure to improve our measures to control the virus for many months in 2021. As I said, the variants are spreading around the globe. More than 60 countries now have seen these variants. Most of them have just seen them as isolated cases in passengers arriving from overseas, which are the orange countries. The countries in red are now known to have spread of the variants in those countries. So where are we in mid-2021? In the United Kingdom, where the B117 variant is spreading most rapidly, 60% of cases of new infections in England are due to this variant. It's 40% in Scotland and 35% in Wales, and it's increasing in those areas. In Ireland, 70% of new cases are due to B117, and 45% in the Republic of Ireland have been reported to be due to B117. The variant is growing in several European countries, and the furthest along on the main European continent is Denmark, who have reported 7% of new cases last week were due to variant B117. It's in the United States. The CDC are reporting that 22 states have seen the variant in their testing and sequencing. The sampling of positive cases in the US is quite a bit lower than some European countries, certainly a lot lower than the United Kingdom. However, genome sequencing taking place in some states, so New York, California, Wisconsin, Wyoming, Maryland, and New Mexico, have shown recently that about 2% of samples were due to variant B117, and that this was growing at the rate that was seen previously in Denmark and the United Kingdom. So that's it for this update. If you want to get more information, then you look at these previous two videos that we recorded. One of them is just on the basic science to help you understand what the virus is, what DNA, RNA are, what the PCR test is, what mutations are, how they come about, and how they change the spike protein. And the second video looks in much greater detail at the spread of these variants, showing you all of the data. Thanks very much. Do consider subscribing and give us a like and some feedback. Thank you.